The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Forum, assemble. You're watching the Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books, and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whatever the case may be, wherever you are in the world. And if not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is a riddle inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin. Hey,
what's up?
Indeed. Next, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He is our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
I forgot how smooth these shiny ones are. Look, I'm getting my prints all over it.
Shiny.
Now you can identify me.
Next, he's the backbone, the pillar, the strength, the Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler, and resident strongman, Moses Fackman.
What's up, man?
Indeed.
I hate this time we're living in, Larry. Everybody's always asking me about the same fucking shit. This ugly dude rising to power. Did I see it? Did I see it? And I'm like, no, I haven't watched The Penguin. I haven't watched it. And I got that question like 6 times in this past 4 days. Like, I had to literally tell somebody I'm not gonna watch it. Like, I want the aristocrat kind of Penguin. Like, I had enough origin story in the movie. I don't need more. Here, they just made him an ugly dude with a limp and mommy issues.
Wait, so did you actually start watching Penguin?
I only watched the first episode back when it came out. I want to watch more of it. Like, I've watched enough.
I don't know, Mo.
Well, if I watch it, then I can't say that. So I'm not going to watch it. So I can keep saying that.
It is what it is. There it is. As for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Murray Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today. We are going to be like, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to be celebrating our boy Hecht because it's his birthday. So we're going to be doing that. And one of the things we're going to do to commemorate that is talk about Batman, Absolute Batman, number 4. We're going to do that today. We're also going to talk about Green Lantern, Fractured Spectrum, number 1. And we're going to be talking to you all about Lucky Devils, the Lucky Devils, number 1 as well. So we got all that along with whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. And we'll let you all know how it is you can get down with Fantastic Forum and let us know what it is that you want to tell us. We'll do that in just a moment. But before we do, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope all is well with you, good sir. And with that said, let's have the intern do the intern thing.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Indeed, you know you want to. Do what the intern says. Go to fantasticforum.com. Jump into chat if you like, where you can we'll take your comments directly out of the YouTube or out of the Twitch chat, and we'll bring them into the show. Joe, insert a witty chat comment here.
Hexzilla says Borf.
Borf. Is that a thing? Is Borf something that I'm not aware of?
He's a Klingon. I only know the Space Ace villain.
There's a Space Ace villain called Borf?
The main guy, the main villain in Space Ace is called Borf.
I did not know that. Okay. Oh, Bort. Hex says birthday. Happy birthday, Heck. Happy birthday. Also, if you want to be the fifth member Fantastic Forum, you could always, call in. Go to fantasticforum.live, hit the call in button. I'm sorry. I was going to say you're going to be the fifth member of Fantastic Forum, but that's not true. It's not true because we have our special invited fifth member of Fantastic Forum is here, ladies and gentlemen. Feels birthday, man. What up? Happy birthday, Heck.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
There it is. Hey, man. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. Thank you for being here, buddy. You could be anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us, and we appreciate that.
I could have been doing crack behind the 7-Eleven, but
exactly,
I'm here.
Exactly.
Instead, you're doing it here on the air.
Exactly. Exactly. I do it with friends.
You're doing your crack.
Yeah, that's what you want to be is
on
anti-social.
Fantastic Forum. So welcome, Hecht, man. Happy birthday once again, friend.
Thank you.
But
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so if you want to be the sixth member of Fantastic Forum, it's really simple. All you got to do is jump to fantasticforum.live, hit that call-in button, and you will be the sixth member of Fantastic Forum today. So yeah, feel free. Yeah, like it's good to be here with you all, gents. Is there anything? Well, listen. Well, as I was saying, is there anything we need to talk about or mention before we get into the reviews and into the topics for today? But one thing that I want to mention is, we had to go on a friggin' Marvel Snap Fast inadvertently.
You were losing your mind.
Yeah, man.
Whoa. I wasn't losing my mind. I was appropriately dismayed. That's what happened. I was because here's the thing. Nobody was expecting Marvel Snap to go down because of the Twitter ban. I mean, the TikTok ban, right?
I was.
Collateral damage.
Just cause.
Mo's like, I just expect bad things to happen, cascades. Yeah. And he's like, I was like, what if this happens? And sure enough, it did.
That's Moses' intuition. Like he knows it. He knows he has it, but he doesn't.
I had even stopped playing for 2 weeks, like
in
already,
anticipation,
because I'm like, well, it's like everything's the same now. Like I'm getting new cards. Not using them. I'm using them in my same hand, and I keep winning and winning and winning. And it's like, okay, so it's like,
why are you not using the new cards?
I don't need them. I keep winning. Like my hand's fine. Like my deck is fine. Like I have a big, massive, throbbing deck, and it's just pounding it. Like I keep winning. So it's like
you might be able to win with a different deck.
I'll never know. But like even the day before, like when it actually went, I was out at a concert, and I'm like, the night before, I finally played a game and actually fell asleep. And then when I woke up, it just said collect. It said victory, collect. Like I won in my sleep technically. And I was like, yeah. So when it went down, I'm like, oh, good riddance. I'm gonna go play Midnight Suns now.
Hey. Well, listen, I can't be mad at you for stopping playing Marvel Snap to go play Marvel's Midnight Suns. I can't. Like Marvel's Midnight Suns is a great game.
I teamed up with Wolverine for the first time.
It's like, and then he'll stop playing Marvel's Midnight Suns to go play Marvel Rivals.
I finally got it to work on the Steam Deck. So yeah, so it's working.
So that might be coming.
I played it for like 10 seconds and I turned it off. I'm like, it's not the best conditions to play. No, well, even on the Steam Deck, like it's the best conditions. Like I realize the lagginess and stuff. Like I need better conditions to play if I'm even gonna get good on it. So it might be an Xbox thing, but
got it.
Yeah.
What I will say is this: when it came to Snap, obviously I wasn't. Well, none of us were expecting it to go down when the Twitter ban. TikTok. I guess I want Twitter to get banned. I really don't. But the TikTok
That logo looks
Look,
like they banned it. The black with the X, like, it looks like it's like they banned it already.
right. But I did not expect, and I think most of us didn't expect the TikTok ban to affect Marvel Snap. And full disclosure, I don't think it had to. I think that was just maybe the parent company feeling away. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's some technical reason that we're all unaware of.
Is this conspiracy forum now?
Oh, listen, this has been conspiracy.
Yeah.
I mean, I told you that night. It's just ByteDance being butthurt about it.
Yeah, and I think that is the case.
But I also told you, you turn on your VPN, you can still play.
You can go on TikTok too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, TikTok. I don't have TikTok.
Well, but here's the thing. Like, my issue mainly wasn't about this happening, because I didn't feel there was no part of me that honestly felt like TikTok was going to be banned for any significant amount of time. And it turned out I was right about that. Like, it was legit. I think maybe, what was it? 14 hours, was it? Something like that. It was not a full day was TikTok banned.
Mm-hmm.
And TikTok came back, whether you want, it's 12 hours, 14 hours, whatever. Now, my issue was TikTok came back. Marvel Snap did not. And I was like, wait, what? Like, the whole reason this joint is down is because of this TikTok ban, right? So if TikTok's back, then Snap should be back. But Snap did not come back. And it took legit a full 2.5 days for Snap to come back after TikTok did, which I'm like, that's some BS, man. No, look, what I know is there was no national security threat in the United States because of Marvel Snap. That's what I know.
How do you know?
Oh, because I know.
Also, I mean, that's a really good reason. If China wants their more active program to work, they'll turn that on. They don't care about Snap. They want the TikTok on to collect the data.
Well, they're all collecting data
because it wasn't. Right. It's not the government. It's not the U.S. that shut down TikTok. They just said we're banning it. It's the company that actually hits the switch.
Well, I mean, when you say it's the company that hits the switch, I mean, it's not like
the U.S. just says we're banning it, and after this date, for every user that that's allowed to use it, there's a fine. That's all they said. So it's actually ByteDance, the company that would push the button to turn it off. So they're the ones that push the button and turn it back on.
Yeah, it's like the Pornhub thing in the South. Like, they just choose not to give it to the people in the South.
Okay, but
so if you were using an app to collect data, then that would be the one you turn on first, right?
Yes.
Okay. However, so they don't care about your Snap. No one cares about your Snap.
No, well, listen. What I'm saying is, if nobody cared about Snap, then they wouldn't have turned it off in the first place.
They just turned off everything and then turned on the important things.
It's only one switch.
Yeah,
it's not one switch, because there's only one switch and all would have went back on.
Like, according to the message, they didn't even know the switch was going to turn off that too. Like, oh shit!
This is what I'm saying. this is what I'm saying. Where it's so crazy, because if from the Snap perspective, it felt like everybody from Snap's side was like, we didn't know this was going to happen.
See, the power for Snap is running on an extension to the same switch that's running TikTok.
Yeah, they flipped the same power strip.
And this is the thing. There's no issue with me in regards to that being the case. My thing is, again, I'm just speaking from the side where I'm like, okay, like, I know what it's like when you're like buddy borrowing somebody's power. And guess what? If their power go out, then yeah, our power go out. But if their power come back, our power come back, right? But our power didn't come back. And I'm like, what is that about? I'm like, man. Who I know was the most put out by all of this is Jay, because we all know how much Jay plays Snap and how deeply he feels.
Oh, high score every day.
My only issue was they didn't give us anything for or inconvenience.
Yeah, I was hoping for some of that too.
Whereas, like,
Wait, how do you know that's not going to happen?
Like I want it now.
I know it didn't happen. I don't
Or
know
has
about
it,
the
yeah.
future of Snap.
Well, here's two things I'll say. One, I think that there's still the opportunity for that to happen because it hasn't been enough time yet to pass where you're like, okay, that's just not going to happen. But two, I honestly feel like there's definitely a case to be made that like that's not on them, right? Like what are they compensating people for?
Well, because you know, if
For the
servers
U.S.
being
government?
down.
no, if I pay for my season pass and I don't have the opportunities to collect certain things for a certain amount of time, and it's literally like it says like we don't know when it's gonna come back.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
I agree with you.
so then I should either at least get a refund or give me all the things,
You
give me
should.
all the variants or whatever.
Most mobile
should-
games, when
you
they
should-
go down for whatever reason and they come back up, they have some sort of compensation. I mean, it's not like it
At
costs
least
them anything.
currency.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it doesn't
definitely
cost them.
think-
In-game currency.
I'm still
Listen.
getting like just this was it DC Universe Online stuff randomly. I haven't played in years.
I 100% feel like we should all be
Compensated.
taking our grievances to the U.S. government for what they did to us. In
No,
regards
we
to
know how
Snap.
that happens. Look, you
No,
got
it's the
deported.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
we're
people
we're
are
all-
ultimately responsible.
No, the game was just being the game.
They need
I'm
to know
just
where they
gonna
plug in
stop
their power.
playing.
Wait, so you just what now, Jay?
I'm gonna stop playing.
Oh, wait. So what were you doing before this happened?
I'll play every now and then. But now I'm just gonna
Listen,
stop.
I'm just saying, Jay. Our alliance scores say different, Jay. It
Yeah.
says nah, that's not the case. Like,
Yeah.
I can't imagine that you were losing that much, Joe. I don't believe you.
Dude,
I love Jay
one,
because
I lose a lot. I lose a lot. Like one idiot lost to me when I was fucking using a throwaway deck of twos
Wait, I think that
Wait,
was
why
me.
are you using a deck of twos?
because of the challenges. I focus more on the challenges. So
Oh,
if they like
okay.
play this many twos, I threw a whole deck of 2 cards together.
yeah.
And I should have lost. Like the thing wasn't even synergized. Like I don't even know what the cat does. Like Goose, I don't even know what Goose does.
Oh man, that's
You
probably why
have-
you won.
Goose is hardcore.
Yeah, like
Goose is
yeah.
And the idiot still lost.
Like he was probably banking on something, and you played your goose, and there he is. His goose was cooked.
Wade, that's the
I
title. of
don't
this.
remember. I don't even think I had Goose. Like I had him in the deck. I don't think
Yeah.
I played him.
Oh, okay.
too funny, man. Too funny. Look, it's so funny because
I'm gonna play right now. Actually,
M'Baku's a 2, right?
I think.
I think he's a
Or is that a
one, isn't
one?
he? I think he's a
Is
one.
he a 1?
I'm
He
not
probably is a
sure.
1. I've been seeing a
just
thing
know-
lately where people have been using M'Baku, and like on the last turn they'll play M'Baku, and then they'll play Blink, and because it's like the end of the game, like it'll like that Blink will go fish out like something amazing out of their deck. And then on top of that, M'Baku will like jump out at the end of the game still because it goes back into the deck. And so it still jumps out. So it's basically you played 2 cards, but you got 3 on the board. And I'm like, man, like that's crazy. I'm like, I didn't even know that you could like make M'Baku worthwhile.
Is
Are
that
you
gotta-
showing us
Jason?
the baby variant for Mr.
Oh, Baby
Sinister.
Sinister.
Yeah, I hate it because the other card isn't a variant.
You know, I feel that. I feel that. And I think in a perfect world, that's how most of those cards would be. The only ones that do that are like, well, you know, it's interesting because I know that when they did the zombie variants for like Squirrel Girl, they made those squirrels zombie squirrels.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And then also too, of course, when you do all the Mysterios do that too. Like the Mysterios or whatever, because you know, you have to be able to like not tell which Mysterio is the right Mysterio.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, but they should do that. I agree. Like I feel like when you do when you have a card that's a variant, like the variant artist should
Right.
like
all
it
the
has extra
widows
cards. Yeah.
All the widows should do it. Ultrons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ultrons would be cool. I agree. It's
Although
more
I
work.
do like the art. It's copy and paste. Like they're not even paying people for their art, or at least not that person. But
It's not copy and paste because it'd have to be a different. It's like basically the difference between making one card and making like 2 or 3.
but they're already doing that.
I mean,
There's literally
But-
hundreds of cards. Like
well, yeah, but I guess it's. Listen, I'm just talking about what they have to pay for. Like I'm sure that what I know based on the conversation that we had with Ryan Benjamin,
yeah,
like he'll make as many snap cards as they want to pay him for, but
yeah.
they're gonna have to pay him.
I'm sure
He's
Dan
not gonna
Hip
do it
is
for
getting
free.
paid. Like, what's the
Yeah.
other dude does really good work? Damn. Like,
I don't know. There's a lot of great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find that a lot of the artists, like I get introduced to a new artist. I want to say like every other week because of Marvel Snap, where I'm just like, who is this? I don't know who that is. And sure enough, I'm like, they have an Instagram full of comic book art that I've never heard of until I saw them in Snap. So.
Like I'm pretty sure Billy Tan's not getting paid, but
Why is Billy Tan not getting paid?
because that's like they use that the art
The
or
old
his
stuff.
particular art is stuff that came out in the comics or like stuff that wasn't used
Right.
for like a cover or something. So
Right.
like you
Wait,
see a lot of those people don't get paid because they already drew it. They got paid for the drawing it the first time around.
Right.
So,
Marvel Snap is doing the classic pay with exposure by putting his name on there.
no, that's not 100%, but they do like like what's the dude's name? Like Dan Hip is one that like, or John Boy Myers. Like your John Boy Myers, your Dan Hip, your Ryan Benjamin. Like they're getting paid. Like they're doing
Yeah.
new
They're
designs,
doing original art for
for the
Marvel
game.
Snap.
Whereas
Yeah.
other people that, and even in news stories that have complained, it's like, oh, they use old art, and it's like, they're not getting paid. And
Well, but, I mean,
I
they're
wish
not
they
getting.
could, but I'm okay with they don't because I don't want to pay more for my season either.
Well, listen, I don't feel that way, but I'm
the
just saying,
customer
like,
gets fucked in the end anyway, and I'm the customer. I don't want to get fucked.
it's
yeah.
like, listen, cats make a choice to work for hire, right?
Right.
And it's like, you could like they use old Jim Lee art
Yeah.
in Marvel Snap, and I'm sure Jim Lee might feel a way about that, but it's like Jim Lee decided at that moment in time it was worth his while to get paid, a certain amount of money to produce that art.
He helped create
and-
Image
and
when
let
he
that-
wasn't getting paid.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Where it's like, he was like, okay, well, I was okay with it then, and you might feel a different way later, and that's fine. But it's like, people made choices, so I don't know. Like, say for instance, that Jim Lee got screwed over. It's like
No.
he just his
No,
he
there's just
felt different
smaller
about his
artists
work.
that feel about it. Yeah. I mean, again,
Yeah.
I'm not saying like they're getting screwed. I'm just saying their grievances. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a capitalist. Like, fuck them.
Well, once again, I'm not saying all that either.
Yeah, you are. That's why you got deported.
to the country that I'm not from.
They just,
they
you
all
said
end up
Afro
in
Latino,
TJ.
and they just sent you to Puerto Rico.
Hilarious.
I thought the Afro Latinos got sent to Cuba.
No, that's like,
There's an embargo. We don't want to give them anything.
yeah. And we
wild
don't want
part
to let
is
them
I'm-
back. We don't want to let them here either. So
I'm in Dominican Republic, so either way, like that's
It's all the same.
Okay, see there it is. There it
Once you
is.
once you get past the whole Gulf of America, then it's all the same.
Once you get past the Gulf of America,
yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my god.
Meanwhile, the British are the ones drilling there.
Oh jeez, man. All right, you guys ready to do some some reviews? You guys want to talk about some ultimate Batman?
That's what it takes to get
Or
you to talk
Absolute
about
Batman?
comics? Is that what it is?
That's it. That's it. I'm like, oh,
It's like
Going into that.
geosocial, political, economical issues.
let's just talk about comics. Let's talk about
Review. Like review. Well, not like that, but like.
There he is, the man of the hour, Hecht.
Yo,
Why don't you tell the audience about Absolute Batman #4, friend?
oh jeez, gonna make me do stuff. I've been drinking. I don't know nothing.
It's okay. It's better when you do stuff when you've been drinking.
I'm not like you guys. I don't have tolerance. Absolute
That's
Batman
hilarious.
#4.
We're all intolerant now.
Ain't that the truth? Absolute Batman #4. It starts off, if I remember right, it starts off like a flashback of Absolute Batman's early years, dressing up like a Nosferatu knockoff, without the dong, red eyes, fake fangs. It's a trip. And a squiggly outfit. I don't know what they were trying to go for with that, but
I think it was like a spirit
I-
Halloween thing that he put together.
yeah, it's like wool, I guess. His first outfit was wool.
Yeah.
What is that, velvet? It's beautiful.
It's terry cloth.
It's very close. It's Batman walking around in terry cloth, fake fangs, looking like a vampire, trying to scare the hoodlum in Crime Alley.
True.
Blah. And he realizes it's stupid. He screeched at them like a bat. Like, I don't know what he was aiming for, but he realized it's gimmicks.
He bites one of them too.
Yeah, he bites him in the neck with the fake fangs. He's like,
Yeah.
I think he mentions he put a paralytic in it or something.
Right.
Yeah.
which is amazing. Like, that's smart, but the whole gimmick is very, very 90s DC, I guess you could say. Like, it's whack. And then he realizes, nah, this is bullshit. And then he starts getting on the juice, working out. Starts getting huge, so he doesn't have to use the gimmicks. And then all this is interwoven with a other flashback of child Bruce Wayne trying to impress his dad with his engineering skills of making a bridge that looks like a bat because of a school project or something.
Right.
And he keeps working on the bridge, putting improvements to it, because no, this ain't right. It needs this, it needs that. It has to be bigger. It has to intimidate the people that want to hurt the innocent people that it's trying to protect. And it ends up being this crazy origami kind of folding bridge tent thing that the purpose would be to help people in other places, other countries or whatever, have something that they could put together to protect themselves.
Right. Essentially like a drawbridge that is just more easier to put together but stronger because of it. So, like those like big like balsa wood projects from we all did in like 6th grade or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. We did a kite, so I don't know nothing about it.
I did something to throw eggs off of a roof.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of eggs.
We did that too, and mine broke.
Yeah.
So
I think
anyway.
they all break, but it's like, we're this is a Bill Nye. Dude, like, I really love this issue. Like, cause it's like the year one of Absolute, and it's like, I was thinking, I don't know how long, I don't know if I even wanted a year one for this character, but like, this one played like that, and even like the style, like the design of that old furry Batman suit, like it looked kind of like the 30s. It was like homage to that, but also unique to this, and I loved it. Like I want more. I want to say I need like absolute detective comics, which focuses on his early years only. Like,
Yeah.
because I really like that was really interesting to read in this issue. If I do have a criticism, it's just happened a little too soon. Like I would have liked this to be like in between this arc and the next one, you know, and because they use a different artist too, right?
I don't know. I know the art style changed.
Mhm.
I don't know if the artist changed.
I think it did change artists. Let's see.
I'm talking, but I was muted. Sorry. Yeah, they did use a different artist. It's
Okay.
usually Dragoda in the last
Yeah.
few issues, but this issue was a different person.
Yeah,
And the art
so-
wasn't bad. It was just noticeably different.
No, I liked it a lot. Like it was more of like indie comics art, or a little bit more. I mean, you could see the DC editorial in it, but the style is more like something you would read from an image book, you know. So I enjoyed that.
I think it fit for the
Mhm.
flashback stuff.
Yeah, totally.
It did.
Yeah, and that's part of what makes me feel like this should have probably came. We'll see how it plays with issue 5, but this story I would have enjoyed more like after, because I'm excited to finish this arc, you know, and it's not happening yet. So I really want, like, this would have been something more welcome for me. But I enjoyed it nonetheless, but it would have been more welcome at the end of the arc. Yeah.
But are they even going past issue 5?
Yeah, it's ongoing. Scott Snyder, my friend Scott Snyder told me that it's ongoing as long as people are buying it and reading it. They plan on it being. He has like 2 years worth of stories already. So
Oh shit!
he's like if as long as it keeps being like it's successful and people keep wanting it, like they're gonna put it out. So
I don't have the disposable income for this, Snyder.
Look,
Yeah.
that's why Snyder wrote it. He's like, I don't have the disposable income either. I need.
I blew it all
Yeah.
on coke and hookers.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, well, even like you talking to him at that Comic-Con, it was like, you know, he had. Well, I guess we can't really talk about that stuff, but let's just say he could use the money. His kids are probably gonna start college soon, you know, and that's the thing.
Fair.
It's like it's a whole other universe that, you know, it could, just like the Ultimate Universe went for like 15 years, 12 years or whatever. Like the first time around, Larry, you can tell
Yeah,
me
it
that.
was like, I think it was like 10.
10, yeah. So it's like, I mean, that Spider-Man book was ongoing from, you know, from there, you know,
Oh, yeah.
and some of those X-Men books, like, you know, it's with the Avengers, they got a little shaky and rocky, you know.
Yeah, well, you know, I think that was just about who was writing it, but yeah, they had multiple like ultimate runs. Ultimates.
Yeah. It's like they only came in out of like a cycle almost, you know.
Right, exactly. But going back to Absolute Batman #4, you know, like Oz, what did you think of this book?
I think it was fine. I'm not really into the absolute stuff, but I like the opening of his first iteration with the fangs and like, oh, I'm really gonna freak people out.
Right.
Yeah, you know, little things like him figuring out his hook things.
Right.
It's really deceptive because I hate the cover. I feel like
Why do
Snyder
you
was
hate the cover?
I feel like Snyder was trying to make Spawn Batman or
Well,
Venom,
isn't it-
or it could be
is
Venom.
it
I don't know, same.
I think isn't that that cover is done by the original artist, right? Isn't that Jagoda? For
This
that
one?
cover? Maybe. Yeah.
It's not just the cover; is that I know that the suit actually does that at some point.
Right.
Yeah,
And you don't like
I'm
that.
just not into it. But there's a
Yeah.
few good things in here. Like I said, I like that origin
You
stuff.
forgot the other cover, the Francisco Francavilla.
Which one's that one? Is that the one I got?
Yeah, the one that's more orangey, and it's the furry suit on the cover.
I don't think I got that one.
The furry suit.
Yeah, I have it. I don't have it here. I actually have it at the barbershop because I buy every cover they have.
You bet.
So
You're the one funding.
hey, I wanted to keep going. Like I really enjoy this book. Like, so it's like, and that's the thing where you say like, oh, I don't have the capital for this, but it's like I just stopped buying other shit, and you know, I stopped buying other books. And
if I stop buying other shit, it's like the gas for the house.
Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The fucking food.
Yeah.
Food.
Fucking light bill.
Yeah, we could all do a little less food.
I mean,
It's hilarious. Yeah. Now, what I will say.
What do you mean, we white man?
I mean, all of us, fat man.
Damn.
What I will say is one of the things I really enjoyed about this particular issue was, I mean, just like everybody else here that said, like, you know, getting a peek into the origin of Absolute Batman, I think is pretty cool. But I really love the structure of the issue and how you did have like the flashback, not only of like the science fair project, which, you know, lays the foundation for the actual suit that he ends up using as Absolute Batman, but also the like I really liked the like little interstitial stuff it did with the courtroom scene with young Bruce Wayne talking to Joe Chill. Like I liked that, and I felt, you know, that was kind of like the little, or not kind of, that is the stinger at the end where it's like, you know, you have like adult Bruce Wayne like being called, I guess, or summoned by Joe Chill, and so he's like, hey, what do you have to say? But also what I really appreciated was how Scott Snyder and the artist, which I can't remember who the artist is off the top, I apologize, how they were able to like intertwine this science fair story with the Absolute Batman Year One thing, and how like those two things kind of paralleled each other, where, you know, at first he thought he was going to do something a particular way.
Gabriel Hernandez Walter is the.
There you go. Thank you, Moses. I appreciate that. He thought he was going to do things a particular way, but then realized he was like, okay, this isn't the right way. You know, Heck mentioned that earlier. But not only did I appreciate like how the development of the science project kind of paralleled with the development of the Absolute Batman motif, and him going from like one version to like a 2.0 version to a version that is ultimately the Absolute Batman that we're seeing in this book.
The version that's absolute.
Right, exactly. But the other part of it that I really appreciated and enjoyed, which is a criticism that we've heard of Batman for a number of years now, is how, you know, they're like, okay, well, this dude is like this super rich guy that decides he wants to like make the world better and try to fight crime. And so what he decides to do is go beat up on poor people, and, you know, as opposed to like actually do things that he could probably better affect the world by using his money.
Those are criticisms from people that don't actually read the books, because he does do a lot of that too.
Or have money.
Well, I mean, yes and no, right? Like, you know, I mean,
it's not like a recent thing. They even showed that in the animated series. That's how long that's been in there.
Well, yeah. But well, listen, I feel like the animated series is different from the comic books, and there's definitely changes that happened in the comics because Batman the Animated Series took a different approach. You know, it's not like, you know, like it's easy at this point for us to pretend like, okay, Batman has always been this, but no, like there was a point where Batman was just beating up criminals.
There was a point where Batman had a gun. You know, how far back do you want to go?
This book even
Well,
talks about
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
I'm just talking about let's be honest about where the influences come from. I'm not saying like Batman
Like
the anime
he's literally
series
saying that
influenced
it's
the
gone
comics,
through
not-
changes.
huh?
Like you're saying it's gone through changes because of criticisms and things like that, right?
Well,
I think those
what the
criticisms are
sentence-
more recent.
The end of the sentence that I'm trying to say is this origin of absolute Batman. You have this Batman coming to the conclusion on his own, saying like, "Oh, you know what? Like, it doesn't make sense for me to be beating up these people. These are just like these are the lowlifes. Like these are like they're desperate. They're just trying to make it. That's not the people I should be targeting." And that happens in this issue 4, where you see this Batman like making that conscious decision, which is something that
I don't know, man. The guy pushes a innocent lady off a roof. Like that's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
guy you want to beat up. That's not the desperate man doing desperate things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
but he also like he wants.
he's not the person that's responsible for he's not the person that's ultimately responsible for why that woman got pushed off the roof, though, right?
It was
the
his
person-
hand.
Yeah.
Well, he's the one committing the act. I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but it's like that's like ignore. And this is the whole point that Absolute Batman's making in this book, where he's like, that's not the person that's ultimately responsible for this. Like the person that's ultimately responsible is the people.
He's not
higher up.
responsible. He's not responsible for the problems in the neighborhood.
Right.
But I mean,
Like-
the dude made the conscious decision to push this lady off of the roof.
Oh, and nobody's saying you let that guy go. He's innocent. Nobody's saying that. What Absolute Batman is saying, and the criticism that we've had of Batman, in recent years is like, okay, like if he really wanted to solve crime, he has the resources to do that. But maybe he doesn't want to solve crime. Maybe what he wants to do is beat up on poor people. And that's a thing where it's like, okay, hey, that's a criticism worth exploring, I think. But
Yeah. I had a criticism similar when I saw the Justice League movie, where it's like he's literally beating up a dude that is just exercising his Second Amendment rights and locked himself out of his building. like that's how the movie opens up. And I'm like, fucking Snyderverse. Yeah.
The bad Snyder.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I appreciated the idea of Scott Snyder like giving Batman the character itself being like, let me take a larger view of this. And that's like consistent with what Absolute Batman has been doing, where he's not targeting, like he beats up, people that are, breaking the law and hurting people, obviously.
Look,
It's not like he
blowing them
doesn't
up in
fight-
issue 2.
Right. It's not like he's not hurting underlings. It's just the idea that he hurts the underlings with the intention of trying to get to the source of the problem, as opposed
he
to
blew up a semi in this one.
Yeah.
right. He did.
He didn't
but
blow it up. He flipped it.
he did flip it. Right. But again, that was like one of those things where that was like, okay, this is a means to an end, because he wasn't like, let me just mess these guys up. Because it's not like he beat those guys up, or even it didn't seem like he didn't even capture those guys and send them to jail. What he did was disrupt the pipeline that gets like the drugs and the guns into the neighborhood, so that those guns and drugs don't affect the community. And then that way it also puts pressure on the guy higher up, which he's like, okay, let me go mess with the dude that is like actually the guy that's turning the blind eye, allowing this stuff to come into the city. And so like that aspect, I really was like, oh, that's cool, because it's like it's kind of answering that criticism of Batman.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Again, it's comic books. Like, it's like this is it, and it's really interesting because especially with DC, like DC Comics, like those heroes are classic heroes, and so you know, you can criticize that, but it's like you're talking about a character that was developed in the 30s, you know? So it's like, if you want to say like, okay, well, they should be different, it's like, well, okay, you can feel that way, but it's like that's like messing around and being like, okay, well, the Phantom shouldn't have a domino mask, right? It's like, no, like, you don't understand where he came from. right? So there's something to be made about that, but at the same time, it's like, oh, it's just an interesting thing, because like even recently, like one of the books I read recently, they have a Jenny Sparks series that came out recently, like a limited series, and it's Jenny Sparks, but in like, you know, like how they've been doing with the Wildstorm characters, like that's incorporated into the DC universe. And so you have like Jenny Sparks, who is like, of course, like this whole anti-establishment, you know, take it to the man type character, having conversations with people like Batman and Superman. And of course, those conversations go a particular way because of who those characters have been and what they are at their core. And, you know, but that interaction is interesting. And so I think it's just more than anything, it's just like saying like, okay, because we have a different version of Batman that's new, it's interesting to see how this one can be different from the mainstream Batman. And it's not even to say better or worse. It's just different, and appreciating this one for their like virtues, and then appreciating the other one for their virtues. So anyway, Jay, did you read Absolute Batman #4?
Yes.
What did you think of it?
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
The end. Look, what about it did you enjoy, Jay?
Like the nods to year one, or not year one, but like the classic Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. Mo, coming back to you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm showing you right here the cover. That's the one that I was telling you guys. The Francavilla cover.
That's such a sick cover.
Yeah,
it's a way better cover.
Yeah, but it's still doing what you don't like with the suit and the spikes and shit. So.
Yeah, but it looks like they're just built in, and they're not shooting out like they are in the cover A.
He doesn't look like Doomsday in the other cover.
But yeah, and I think like this kind of sums it up for me. Like everything you said, Larry, even like how Jay said it, and even Oz. Like it's still like I know he doesn't feel the absolute stuff as much, but it's really like I like how familiar it is, but so new too. You know, and
right.
That's the issue I had with the Superman one, that it just felt too too new and too fresh. Like there's certain things I like in Superman that I don't want to see changed, but I mean that's just what it is, and I'm sure if I read more of it I'd probably enjoy it too. But yeah, and I wish, Larry, like, too bad you got deported before you could read Wonder Woman 3 and 4, but
yeah, you had.
I read Wonder Woman 3.
Oh, did you finally? Yeah, they let you do it in booking. Like,
exactly. Like, before they turned the app off, I was able to read it in the app.
You read it for my birthday? That's sweet.
That's it. No, I did read Wonder Woman 3. If I'm not mistaken, 4 came out like today, right?
Yeah, I know. I was supposed to go and I didn't. But...
Okay, so I haven't.
Either way,
4.
I read that one digitally, so it's okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I haven't read 4 because it came out today, but and you know, like if I wasn't on an airplane, I probably would have read it. but
and handcuffed.
Right, exactly. If I wasn't being removed from America, I'm one of the deplorables now.
Well, that's what you get for being on that Chinese snap.
Damn.
Exactly.
And the freak off parties.
Right, exactly. It was me, Diddy, and Xi Jinping.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but
I don't know this
but
man.
but what I will say is having read issue 3 of Absolute Wonder Woman, Moses, I totally understand why you were like, why haven't you read this yet? And I honestly, I'm like, I'm pretty sure like Absolute Wonder Woman is the best Absolute book.
It is.
Like, and don't get me wrong, like that's not to say anything detrimental to either Absolute Batman or Absolute Superman, because I like both of those books. But I think just the conversation that Wonder Woman has with the General in issue 3, I was just like, oh man, like this is like some next level stuff happening right
those
here.
like 4 pages in comics are like some of the best 4 pages you'll read in any comic in your entire life.
It was really good. I was like, man, like this is very cool, and I love it. I just like, because it's like Wonder Woman, like taking charge of a situation, but not in a way where like it. Like, a lot of Wonder Woman comics, like when Wonder Woman, they like people try to like have like alpha males out there, and then Wonder Woman try to like out alpha the alpha males. And I mean, obviously, people writing stuff, and there's different levels of execution, and in some of those levels of execution that works, and others it doesn't. But there's definitely something where that kind of almost feels like, okay, well, maybe that's not how Wonder Woman would really do that if she had to. Mm-hmm. And Absolute Wonder Woman kind of like confirms that, where it's like, oh yeah, like Wonder Woman would mess around and end up being like the leader of the pack, but not in that way. She would do it differently. And yeah, so you should mess with it. Like, I know it's a different Wonder Woman, but you all should mess with it if you have the opportunity, because it's really interesting.
What are you telling me for? I was the one who told you about it.
I'm telling you, Mo, because you're behind, man. You haven't read issue 4. It's like, if you really love Absolute Wonder Woman,
if I didn't have to do this shit show, I would have read it.
You would have read issue 4 3 times already right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna read it after.
Joe's read Absolute Wonder Woman number 4 6 times already.
During the show.
He read 3 before and then 3 during. So,
you saw how he looked to the left. He's
I saw it. I saw it. He's like, how did he know? So anyway, anybody have anything else they want to say about Absolute Batman number 4 before we do a rating?
I like the stuff with his dad. Like,
yeah,
you don't get that at all in the main one, since he's dead. But like not only the interactions when he's a kid talking to him, but the way it relates to how he is when he grows up.
Right.
And even just the type of Thomas Wayne he is here, like compared to the, he's not just a rich guy. He's almost like a civil servant to a degree, like somebody with a passion for service, and that affects this type of Batman,
Right. But that's the whole thing, where it's like it's like you get a different kind of Batman because the people that raised him, even if though it was for a short time, are different people too.
Yeah. And then the little, nod to mainstream where, in another life, I'm a heart doctor or whatever.
Right. Right.
I could have been, but I didn't want to be.
Right.
Even that little story that he tells Bruce. Like, yeah, I didn't want to do that because it wasn't going to help anybody as much as being a teacher would.
Right.
It's kind of like, well, what are you doing, Bruce? No, I'm just going to kick people's asses and get big.
Right.
Kick them.
And that's the thing, where it's almost like you see like the through line where it's like, okay, like, yeah, like this person that raised this Bruce Wayne but gets this version of Batman versus an alternate version of Bruce Wayne's parents that raise this version of Bruce Wayne gives you a different kind of Batman. And like it's very cool. It's very cool. But anyway, you guys ready to rate?
Yeah.
Okay, El Hecht, what out of 5? What would you rate Absolute Batman, good sir?
I'll give Absolute Batman number 4 5 Absolute Wonder Womans.
There it is, out of 5. There it is. Like, that's high praise.
Yep.
High praise. Jay, how about you, buddy? What would you rate Absolute Batman number 4?
I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
There it is.
I did enjoy it.
Okay, cool. Oscore, how about you, man? What would you rate Absolute Batman number 4?
I'd probably go 3.5. It loses a little bit because I wasn't feeling the art either.
Got it.
Like Batman just looked kind of like fat in his face, bugging me.
Yeah. Fat Bruce Wayne.
Well, that's why he had. That's why he had to get big. He had to fill in.
He had to fit into the face.
Yep.
Moses Magnum, what would you rate Absolute Batman number 4?
This is a 5 for me, man. Like, because even like reading it like as a one shot, like it's a great jumping on point. You're not too far in. Like it's a great issue, and again, like the only criticism I would have had is like, I want to see more. But again, I don't know how this is going to play into 5. So,
Right.
We'll have to do that. I'm sure it's going to work out.
Got it. For myself, I would give Absolute Batman number 4 a 4 out of 5. And realistically, I think honestly the only thing that stops me from giving it a 5 is the art. Like, and it's not like it's terrible. It's just I didn't enjoy it as much as the art that had come previous, and so like that's a little bit of a bummer for me. Where it's like like if this had that Dragotta art, it probably would have been. It definitely would have been a 4.5 at least, but it probably would have been a 5 out of 5 because I really enjoyed this issue. So. But hey, it is what it is. Sometimes, art is subjective. So cool. You all ready to talk some Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm not.
Green.
I meant to. I seen it and I was like, I need to read that.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay, Heck. Look, you can listen along. You can ask questions. Whatever floats your boat. Look, it's your day. So obviously, if you want to dip out and go off and party, like I know how you do. You know what I'm saying? King of freaking Arizona. So,
hey, keep it down a little bit, because.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
The vans are going around.
Sire.
The vans are going around. I don't need to. I don't need to end up in a different country.
I love it. But anyway, Oz, man. Listen.
Yeah, man. Green Lantern, Shattered Rectum.
Wow. not Shattered Rectum.
This man was saving that.
Did I download the wrong one?
Hilarious. There it is. Vivid Entertainment, Shattered Rectum.
No, I showed it earlier. I got the shiny.
Right.
This is actually when I read it, I was thinking I usually call these like 0 issues,
right?
But I think this is just their version of Timeless, like done well.
Yeah,
because they do this a lot
for Green Lantern.
Yeah, they do this a lot because it continues from the last book, but it's also setting up a new book.
Right.
Which is the Return of the Green Lantern Corps books.
Right.
And it kind of gives you an overview of what was happening. It shows you, hey, we haven't forgotten about Kyle. Like he can still do stuff. He's still white.
He's still like a White Lantern.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What?
He's still white.
But they also, incorporate a lot of the, obviously, because it's a Green Lanterns tends to just continue the story. They don't necessarily reboot like the whole DC universe. I think even like whenever there's a crisis, if you read the Green Lanterns books, they still in continuity. Like they don't really change
usually
much.
Right.
Well, they were still in continuity after like Final Crisis and Flashpoint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's usually like a story happening at that point. Like one of them was War of the Lanterns. That was like between Blackest Night and Brightest Day or something like that. So while the rest of the DC universe is kind of rebooting itself, Green Lantern just kind of keeps going on.
Right.
The only thing that they screw up is they keep adding lanterns, and it's becoming too many. At some point, it's just going to be humans.
Even this one, like there was too many. Like it's like for our sector being so like tiny and insignificant, like how come we had the most representation in it? Yeah.
Right. No, and you know, I mean, obviously, again, it's comics, so it's one of those things where you're like, okay, like you know why there's so many human lanterns.
No,
because...
but again, they make a point where it's like our sector is so. That's why, like, even like Hal Jordan's origin, it's like this dude got lost here because they're not even like we don't even really need to protect over here like that much.
Right.
You know, like
right. It's not that important.
Was it Abin Sur or whatever? Like he's like, it's just I happen to be, you know, I'm on a rural road in the galaxy and ended up here.
Right.
I mean, and they kind of address that for during this run of the books, which is it's up to like 19. Earth is quarantined. Like the Green Lanterns got taken over by the United Planets, and they're like, you know what? We don't know what the fuck is going on with Earth, so we're just gonna like. You just stay there. You don't leave.
And that's why Hal Jordan was like on Earth for a while, right? Because
he's like grounded.
Technically, he was actually. I think he was considered an outlaw. Like he was wanted.
Right.
He was actually hiding out on Earth. And you can't use a ring because then that's how they detect you.
Right.
But so, he's Hal Jordan, so he like manifests a ring that's not connected or some nonsense.
Right. No, exactly.
But there's like they're getting like really overpowered. I told you guys last time that John Stewart creates like a AI construct of his younger dead sister.
Yeah.
She's the one helping Kelly.
Yeah.
In this book.
Oh, that's who that was?
That's who that was. That's just a construct of John Stewart's that came to life that he created to take care of I think it was his mom who has dementia.
Yeah.
I guess now that she's dead, like the construct is just kind of like hanging out, doing stuff.
That's so crazy. I was trying to figure out who that was. I was like,
that's who that is. Look, I'm still not 100% sure who the hell Kelly is. I just know Kid Lantern shows up every now and then.
Well, I read the book that she got created in, and I can't tell you who she is either. But I read the book. Like I saw it happen, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was just interesting because I felt like they did like a decent job of like kind of giving everybody like a little bit of a primer. I won't say everybody, but I feel like they gave a primer for like the people that they felt folks would not know, because they don't give you any primers for any of like the main lanterns. They give you a little bit of a primer for for Cruz, but she's a newer lantern.
She's come up.
She definitely has come up. Yeah, and honestly, she was a good character from the jump. Like I've honestly liked her as a lantern. Whatchamacallit wasn't there, right? Though
Simon.
What happened? Yeah,
he was there. He was like in the background. He's the one that was carrying Kelly when they rescued her.
Oh, okay. So
because in other books, he's kind of like taking the role of older brother figure to her.
Okay,
like he's the one taking care of her.
I was sitting here like, man, I was like, where's Simon? Like this fool didn't get much shine at all, considering like every other Earth lantern felt like they got a moment, and it might have been just a moment, but they got it. But I don't feel like Simon.
No, he's still in the background. Like I just recognized him by the outfit and the fact he was carrying Kelly.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, that's kind of wild because I was like, oh, what's that about? But anyway, um, but yeah. Like Mo, how did you feel about this book?
It was okay. I mean, describing it like the timeless is, or what's the other one? Time slip, like is
Time
kind of
slide.
okay. Okay, this is that, you know. But yeah, like I when we talk about art, like not feeling the art, like this was something I didn't like. Like
Oh, you didn't like this art?
it was it was decent, good, kinetic, but it's just the designs like you can't tell who's older than who. Like everybody looks the same age,
Yeah,
and you know, especially
yeah,
with like how we talk about with Green Lanterns never really like rebooting. Like there is a certain you know hierarchy in terms of just who these people are. That's why we have these many Earth Lanterns, because they're all different in personality, life experience, even like rank, military rank, you know, like shit like
right,
that.
right.
So I would like the art design to reflect that too, and it
Got
didn't
it.
do that for me, you know.
Yeah.
um I you know Guy Gardner was okay, like I like that dude and he was okay here, but yeah, he was weird too a little. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking through it now. Everybody does look like early 20s. Even Kelly, who's supposed to be a teenager,
Right.
looks
Yeah,
like
yeah.
maybe
No,
even
I would
preteen, I
agree.
think.
Yeah, so it's more of a design thing. It's an editorial thing. It's not like it's bad art,
Right,
but
right.
it's like even like certain things like they did well, like when Hal Jordan salutes, because he's a dude that probably would salute.
Yeah,
He salutes with a construct of a hand,
right,
like you know. So it's
right,
like that. I thought that was like a nice touch because he's doing it with his hand, but he does it with the light
right,
construct too. So I
right.
like, I really like that. Like just touches like that helped it, but it's more of a design issue for me, not the actual executable art. Other than that, like it was all good. Like even some of the just the backgrounds and everything, like it was pretty consistent, you know. Even the stuff I didn't like was a little consistent, so it's good. The story was okay, but yeah, definitely I'm like I thought it was more of an event book where it's like, okay, this is what I can read and I get my fill of everybody. Because if it's gonna be a bunch of different books, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I
I
gotta
think
get
it's just one more book, Green Lantern Corps,
yeah, and that's probably
and
Yeah,
gonna
then
deal with
and
all
then
of
your
it. Yeah,
regular Green Lantern book.
yeah, and that
right.
regular one, I was a little weird about too. Like I don't know, him grounded something I didn't particularly care for. It was interesting, but it's not. We'll see where it goes.
I hope it's not like, I think, what was it, New 52, where they had like 5 or 6 books.
Yeah,
They
That'd
had
be
a lot in
crazy.
New 52.
like I don't even mind like getting like a core book, like a Green Lantern core book, and then it just like be almost anthology where it's like a couple different stories or like 2 stories each month, you know,
Yeah,
and
and
then just
that's
cycling through the
usually
different.
that's
Yeah,
usually how it kind of runs regularly. You got the Green Lantern book as the main one, and then the Lantern Corps, you get stories or you focus on different groups
yeah,
of the Lanterns.
yeah, and they all eventually kind of connect. So,
Yeah, and then an event happens and they all get together.
mm-hmm.
Then the band
Jay,
gets back together.
right. Jay, Mo had mentioned the art. How did you feel about the art for this book?
I thought it was all right. Like I didn't have any real problems with it. It was
Mm.
a little off, but not too bad that I couldn't ignore it.
So you kind of maybe have a similar take to Mo then in regards to the
Maybe.
art. Fair, fair. It's like Mo, you feel like how Mo does, but wouldn't word it as harshly.
Yeah, like I didn't really get the ages thing.
Oh, see,
Um,
interesting. That's really interesting.
but I know there's like a couple of times where you look at crowd shots
Mhm.
and they look not hastily put together, but you could definitely tell, like in the solo shots, like it feels better looking at
Okay.
it.
Well, Oz, like, how do you weigh in regards to the art there?
I think I mostly agree with Mo. It's not terrible. It's fine. They do all look the same age.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's interesting because I know when I read this book, I was sitting here looking at it and I was like, this 100% feels like the midway point between like classic comic book art and like manga. You know, like, and it's like, you know, it's not like a comic book, like a heavily influenced manga style in the way, like, say, like a, you know, like a Joe Mad would be. You know, it's not like that where it like damn near looks like a manga. It literally feels like it's trying to like straddle the line between both of those things. And I was reading it like, wow, like it's interesting because everybody does look like, I remember thinking like everybody looks like around the same age. And then, you know, I don't need people necessarily to look old, but I definitely feel like, yeah, like Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart should look older than Kyle Rayner. You know, and Kyle Rayner should look older than Jessica Cruz. You know, and
well, everybody should look older than Kelly and the Construct.
Right. And the Construct, right?
I forget her name.
Exactly.
The Construct.
Young Miss Stewart is what they call her. No,
I missed the the Grant Morrison Green Lantern.
You missed the Grant Morrison Green Lantern? Well, see, but this is the thing. Like, I will say, like, it's interesting because reading this too, the other thought I had was like, okay, this definitely feels like Green Lantern, like going back to form.
Yeah.
And, you know, but again, like for myself, I was like, I don't know, like how far out it went, but I can say that only because, you know, there was a point where I read like Green Lantern's going far out with Morrison, right? And being like, oh, I don't know if I like this. And so it's like, if enough people felt that way, then of course they're going to try to bring it back. And it's interesting because I was a little conflicted about it, only because, you know, on one hand, you know, I'm reading my X-Men books and I'm like, oh, I'm finding it very like vanilla and like, you know, like finding a lot of them very not worth reading, it feels like, just because it's like, okay, it's X-Men going back to, it's like, I mean, I guess maybe it's 90s roots, maybe, you know what I mean? Like just going backwards after having a really, what I thought of as like a very dynamic era. And so reading this Green Lantern and feeling like, oh, like this feels like Green Lantern books, I couldn't help but think about the folks that might have been reading Green Lantern and feeling that kind of way, where they're like, oh, like Green Lantern's doing some interesting stuff. And then now it feels like they're trying to just, look, they're putting a battery on Oa, right? It's like even though I'm like reading this book, the other part of me was like, okay, yeah, they're going back to form, but I'm like, okay, there's a lot of stuff happening that I'm like, what's going on? Like I didn't like they showed Guardians, which I was like, okay, I knew the Guardians weren't necessarily from before, weren't like a big part or as big of a part of what goes on with the Green Lantern Corps as they used to be. They weren't essential, but I was like, oh, they got Guardians wearing other lanterns like symbols. I'm like, what's that about? I don't know, because I've been reading, you know. And then Sorrow, I was just like,
Oh, I hate
like, so we got like an emo lantern now.
You want to know his origin, because it was like 3 books back or something like that. It's in this run. It's a recent thing.
Yeah, and listen,
I literally thought it was like the kid from the Sandman books.
Dude,
like,
no.
Hilarious. No, but it's like, did Home Chick just break up with him and he was just like,
He was engaged to Carol,
right?
and then Hal Jordan shows up, and so obviously he's like, "Hey, come on," and she goes with him, and he's just like crying in his room, and next thing he just
like,
gets a ring.
He's like, my heart. And then and a ring came. Where'd the ring
and
come
he
from?
just got a ring.
And
You
so
knew
he's
the
like
ring was
he's a
coming.
gray lantern. Is that what it is? Like
Yeah,
gray
he's the Gray Lantern of Sorrow.
mauve.
Makes you sad. Makes you cry like a bitch.
And that's what he
Right.
did to
To
Guy Gardner.
Poor guy. Nobody-
Definitely-
Guy was
that-
like, eh.
Guy has
Right.
no feelings at this point.
It gives me the plaid ring of disappointment.
We're getting there at this point.
We are. Listen, it's going to show up.
So is there going to be a tie-in with My Chemical Romance or something?
Nah, like that's the Black Lanterns technically. Like you listen to the album Black Parade, like everything leading up to Black Parade is like, yeah, those are Black Lanterns, man.
I'm
But
not
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of blown away because I was like just sitting there reading this book, and I'm like, is this dude just like a jilted lover that decided to like
That's
take it out
that's literally
on the Green Lantern Corps?
he gets broken up with and just cries until he gets a ring.
He's that one coworker.
It's like,
He's
what's the
not
ring
taking-
of rebounding? Like 'cause that's
the
what he
ring of
needs.
rebound.
Like that's what he needs. He just needs a rebound. Like
The gray
get
ring
over-
of sorrow.
you get over one by getting under 12 different ones. You know?
He's like, ah. He's like my heart. Look, Jay, did you like this fool Sorrow?
I thought he was interesting.
That's fair. That's fair. Look, you know what the other part that makes it a little wild to me, because like the costume design, like it's basic, but it fits, right? So I'm not gonna knock it. It's like one of those things where it's like it definitely feels like it was like made in like the late 90s, you know what I mean? Where you're like, okay, like that's the costume you make for that character at that time. But something about him being like blonde
Here's my
like
problem
makes
with
me
it.
feel
Here's
like
my-
that's not right. Like he should not be blonde. Like that guy needs to dye his hair.
Here's my problem with the character design for this. Well, I mean, the fact that he was crying like a bitch because he got broken up with, and that's how he got his power. Like, if you're gonna make Sorrow this character, this lantern, dude, I really wish they would have gone with a lady and done kind of a twist on La Llorona.
That or he should have had a better tragedy as his origin.
Yeah, like, he should,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
he
Like
lost-
Llorona has like it's her kids. She's sad
Yeah.
for her kids.
right.
You know.
No,
Yeah,
but even
like
if
losing
like, that's if
losing
you-
a child would have
like if
been
you
the way to
use
go.
if you're using a woman, but even if you don't use a woman, you keep it a dude. Just use a better tragedy.
Yeah. Like a dude losing a kid would have been made more sense than it's like you're getting broken up with. It's like, come on, man.
Because I know I almost got the Sorrow ring, but that was when my mom threw out my like heavy metal tapes. But then I got the red ring of Rage and fixed the issue.
Right.
What does that mean?
It means I burned her fucking sermons, or threatened to at least. Yeah.
So, and Oz, do you know what's up with the lanterns? Like, I mean, the lanterns, the guardians. Like,
Yeah,
why
they're
do they
just-
have different? Are there different guardians of all the different
Yeah.
spectrums?
Yeah, well, all the lanterns got blown up, so each of the guardians came to Oa. All the different spectrum lanterns got blown up. They all exploded, and
So
the core,
there's no-
and then the cores decimated, killed, taken down.
So there's no lanterns that other
no,
than Green
that's why
Lanterns now?
that's why they're installing the Green Lantern at the beginning of the book, because that one was actually made on Earth using the power of the Green, the Swamp Thing, Alan Scott stuff.
Oh. So wait, so that means like Sinestro's dead right now?
No, he's a Red Lantern.
Wait, so there's red lanterns?
Yeah, they just don't have a battery.
It's out there. There's just
Oh.
nothing to control it. That's what they were talking about. Fractal lanterns is that now
Right.
anybody can manifest a lantern ability because there's nothing controlling the spectrum.
It's
There's
called
no
that's why it's
Oh.
called the fractured spectrum.
Got
Yeah, there's no
got
power batteries channeling it specifically.
it, Got it. They're rudderless.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. Anybody else want to say about this before we do some ratings? Okay. Jay, what'd you think of Green Lantern? Fractured Spectrum #1.
I'll give it a 5 out of 5.
No.
I liked it. I liked the I like Sarah. And I like
Okay.
the starting point. It's good for reading.
Okay, there it is. There it is. Oz, how about you, man? What'd you think of Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum?
I'm probably gonna go with 5 also, just because it got me excited for new books coming out.
Okay.
Because I haven't had a lot of Lantern stuff lately.
Right, right. No, I hear you. I hear you. Okay. Moses, how'd you feel about Green Lantern Fractured Spectrum? What would you rate it?
I'll do 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it could have been a little easier to, or guiding me for more other stuff, but they only have so many pages, and I only have so many IQ points. So, but it's still like the art, even with my little critiques of it, the art was still good, and it definitely like if you, like Joe said, like it's a good jumping off point right now too. If you've wanted to jump in, like this will get you ready. Not
Yeah.
me, but maybe you could do it better, and
Right.
it'll be an enjoyable experience or a starting point for you.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like very similar in the sense that I give it like a 3.5. Like, it definitely feels like the lanterns of old, and like I said, I feel a little conflicted about that, but at the same time, like the story wasn't bad, and it definitely does enough. It's done enough that I would probably pick up. Like I know that they said the story is going to continue in Green Lantern 19 and in Green Lantern Corps #1. Like I might pick those up just to see, what happens next. So yeah.
Wow, I just realized half of the stuff I said about this book is about the other books.
Which other books?
The ones before it. Like Kyle Rayner doesn't turn white in this one. That was the last book where he went White Lantern.
Yeah. No, he didn't turn white, but
they rescued Kelly in one of the other books.
Okay,
That's how
so
seamless this flows into it.
So Baz wasn't even in this book then.
He's at the beginning. He's like on one panel next to Joe.
It's like when you're like, anything you gotta say, it's like, oh yeah, I've been talking about the wrong one.
Hilarious. But yeah, I was like, oh okay. Like that's what I said. I didn't see that, but like okay, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
no, that was the book before. Because I actually caught up before I read this book, so I read everything like at once.
Got it. I understand. But yeah, I mean, like, it's not a bad book. I'm trying to figure out too, like, what's the, and if you could say this quick, because we got one more book we got to talk about. But what's the like robot seeming lantern that's guarding the battery? What's that? Okay.
I honestly I don't remember. I wanted to say it's an Amazo.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was because it looks like an Amazo.
It does have like the ears.
Yeah.
I want to say it was an Amazo that had the Starheart in it, and help create the battery on Earth. But I can't say that for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. All right. You all ready to do Lucky Devils?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. Moses, man, tell the people what the Lucky Devils, what this book is.
This book is basically it's a story of two people that are seemingly not connected, and they don't give into their negative impulses in the way they deal with life. And it turns out they have a little devil next to them whispering them to do the bad things, and they just won't break. Like they stick to their ideals or or whatever. Like they do the best they can regardless of their situations. And in a world where the little demons need to move up in their society and get promoted, like they're not doing their job with these two people. So they reveal themselves to Cam and Star respectively. One's rage and the other one's envy. the little devils, and they're like, hey, we're just gonna make you more powerful here. You just got to help us rank up in the way we do things. And I know we're not supposed to show ourselves to you, but this is what we need from you, and you'll get what you want out of life, and we'll get what we need. And at the end, you figure out that these two demons are technically in a relationship together, and it's a little plan that they devise to kind of fuck around and create chaos in their society, in hell or whatever it is. Yeah. And they don't like it where they're at, and they're like, let's fuck this up. And that's the little bit of a twist, if you can, to the ending, if you want to call it that. But yeah, and that's it. And it's written by Charles Soule, and Larry claims he's a fan of his, but he's not.
And it's what is it? Ryan Brown, right?
Right, which they did together.
8 billion genies.
They did 8 billion genies together, and I think they also did the other one, Curse Words, together. That was pretty good. So, because the art reminds me a lot of Curse Words, and the art in 8 billion genies is a little different, but I can see similarities. Right. But the feel of it feels like it's almost like they're in a similar universe. So, that's kind of why I picked it. Kind of like, I know we enjoyed 8 billion genies a lot, and like, let's see what this does, So yeah.
So
what you guys
think? Now, that's a good summary, Mo. Appreciate it. Jay, how'd you feel about this book?
No, I liked it. Part of me is wondering if they're gonna lose track of how many fingers each devil has.
Why do you feel that?
Because they're different.
Okay.
That's
do you know the numbers?
Do
you know the numbers for each devil?
What's her name has 9 fingers.
Okay.
5 on one hand and 4 on the other.
Okay. And the other one has what? 10 or less?
I don't know. I just remember her.
Got it. That's fair. Okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they make sure they keep that continuity, and if there's a story reason why that's the case. So
they also
I like the concept too.
Yeah, I like the concept, but in reading it, that's where the book kind of, I don't know if it shines or it could annoy you, depending on what, because the concept is cool, but you don't get to see it, the way it unfolds for you. It might take a little too long. I know I was feeling like it was taking a little long, but because of the what it's actually happening, you need to get to know these people too, more than you need to know what the hierarchy in the devil world is or whatever, so
right.
And then they managed to give you the devil world stuff in a fast amount of time. So it just kind of ramps up. Once you get to that point, it ramps up fast, and before you do, it's oh, it's over already. Where it's at first I'm wait a minute, this is taking forever, and then it's no, it's over already. I think that's a Soulism too, a Chuck Soulism, because it's kind of, they all have their your Snyders, your Tinians. They have the way the book opens up, and I feel like Soule kind of does this fairly regularly.
Yeah. Now I will say that I am a Charles Soule fan. I think he's a great writer. Really, really, really enjoyed 8 Billion Genies. And so I was excited, especially when Mo mentioned this, to, give this a shot. And, I don't know, I will say that there's something about the execution of this concept that just doesn't quite sit right with me. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't do the thing the way that I would hope that it does, and especially like given the pedigree of this team, like they're fantastic. So, it was hard reading it and feeling that way because I was just kind of like, like, what is it about this book that is making me like kind of just give it a little bit of pause. And I don't know, like it just feels like it definitely lacks like the characters lack a little bit of charm. And ultimately I'm like, I'm not sure if I guess I am feeling or like agreeing with the plan that the Devils are hatching. So I don't know, like all in all, I'm kind of like a little bit iffy on it, and I did not expect that to be the case because the team has such a high pedigree. So,
do you think partially the art is to blame?
I mean, I don't know though. I don't know because again, like I definitely feel like the art style is a little bit different. But it's not like it's so out there that it's like, like I would feel like, okay, it would maybe deter me from buying a book that I found or thought of as interesting.
Right. But when
what
you
I-
talk about like the charm of the characters,
Right.
like their design, the way
Yeah.
they are put in their environments where you're supposed to be seeing them or their reactions to, because they play it for you later when the Devils are explaining it, and I'm like,
Right.
I didn't even get that from when I read it the first time, like, and then when you read it the second time, it's like, okay, you see where they're like, you can see where the Devil's trying to get at them, and they're choosing to
Right.
do what they do, but
Right.
I don't think the art style conveyed it as well as
Yeah.
it could have,
Yeah.
like just the conversation about the Mercedes, like I didn't even feel like I felt more for the guy with the anger when shit goes wrong and he gets
Right.
angry, like,
Right.
but he doesn't really, like, I felt that conveyed his wrath sin a little better than they did her envy,
Right.
and they put a lot more work into him being disappointed in the events that are creating him to go angry,
Right.
like
Right.
it literally changed colors, the panel, whereas hers, I mean, it probably did it and it was just subtle. I don't know, let me look back at it, but it was just too subtle or something. But I do feel like if it was, the art was a little different, not that it was
Right.
bad, but if it just did more to try to convey those things, you would probably connect with the characters a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. That might be the case. Yeah. I know, like on paper, I definitely am like, oh yeah, I'm 100% like behind the book, but in actuality, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know, like I don't know, like
Yeah, see, like, so where he gets angry, like he turns all red, where he should be angry, right?
mhm.
Sorry, it's a.
Oh damn it! Hold on, there you go. I was trying to yeah, show it bigger. I was trying to make you bigger so that they could see it.
Right, and then for her, they do the green, but it doesn't stick out like his red for envy. His red for wrath, and her green doesn't stick out the same. It actually looks brighter on camera than it does in the actual book.
Right. So, but yeah. Okay. Well, listen. Anything else you want to say about this book before we rate it?
I mean, I still enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see what happens, especially once we see what the devil's motivation. Like, it turns out like they're the real characters here. So
right,
and that's the little thing. Like these people, maybe that's why you didn't feel with them too, because you're supposed to care more about the devils and
no, and
that
listen,
might not have
okay.
been, that just might not have come across for you as much, but it did for me. and
Right.
so I'm excited to see, like, especially like seeing them, like the way other devils talk to them and shit, and it's like when they appear to the people, they're like, okay, we're powerful, we're this, and then when they go into their society, it's like, oh, you guys are shit, like they're the shittiest devils. So that really interests me, and I want to see that play out more. I want to see what happens with that. And I think if this would have been a manga and drawn in that manga style, you probably would have felt a little different.
And that might be true. Yeah, like, I can see that because it kind of primes you for something different. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't usually have an issue with like lengths of comics and all that kind of stuff. But maybe, I could see it being like the reception being different for me at least. So yeah. So okay, cool. Listen, Moses, what would you rate the Lucky Devils out of 5?
I would do a 4. It was a good issue, number 1. It definitely ramped up, like the way it started. Like there's emotion to the way the story goes, and it leaves me at a point where, not at a high point where I'm like, okay, it is a cliffhanger, but it's conclusion enough where it's like, even if, like, I do want to know what happens next, but even if I miss it, I feel like I got a nice succinct story here that I had an enjoyable experience. So that's like, usually you want them wanting more, and I do want more, but if they sell out, it's like, okay, I could wait another month till they're reordered or something,
right?
And I think that's something that, especially in serialized storytelling, like nobody really can do that well.
That's true.
So I think they did it, and I like that about this comic. So yeah, 4 out of 5.
Cool. Okay, cool. I think for myself, I would give it a 3 out of 5, just because, again, I don't know, something about the execution felt a little bit off. And while I can appreciate, especially the ending or whatnot, like I can appreciate it and, find like the thought of that interesting. I don't know, something about the way it was actually presented. It just didn't feel like, it didn't make me think like, okay, let me go ahead and like necessarily follow these two in their mission to, like take over the underworld. But I think it's just like one of those to each their own type deals. So yeah. El Hecht, are you still there, friend?
Yeah, man.
Word.
What's up? I'm just listening to the review.
Yeah, there it is. So no, but I think that's it. Where it's like, maybe issue 2 will make me feel different, and I hope so, because again, I love this team and I love some of their work in the past. So it's like I want it to win. So we'll see. Yeah. Okay. Well, listen. You all ready to get out of here?
Let's do it.
All right.
I know you got to go. They got to check your bunk and stuff before bed, right?
Right. Exactly. I got to make sure I'm here for lights out. All right. That's like in expatriate jail.
Damn.
You need me to go ahead and do the music, Mo, or you got it?
Oh yeah, I can do it.
Like, I can do it if you're like, hold on, I got it right here.
I can do it. Dun, dun, dun.
There it is. Let Heck do it. Let Heck do it.
All acapella.
All right, El Hecht, wishing you a happy birthday once again, friend. I hope you're having a great. Are you having a great one? What do you want to tell the people? Give them some final thoughts.
Read comics. They're good. Also, the lead up to my birthday was Hechtfest, which was streamed on Twitch. I didn't really stream that well today, so I'm going to do an extra day tomorrow, sometime in the morning, 11 Mountain Time. I'll let you figure out how that works out. but I'll be on twitch.tv/hex at around 11, 12, I don't know, sometime in the morning.
Okay.
If you subscribe now, you'll get the alert.
You don't even have to subscribe, but I would like you to subscribe.
That's how I find out. They just says, "Oh, Heck is live." All right, I'll head over.
Right. Right. All right. Cool. Moses Magnum, give us some final thoughts, man.
Happy birthday, Heck, man! Thank you for spending it with us, and all you out there, like, send Heck the Cash App money so he can buy himself something nice.
Listen, you can sub to me, you can PayPal me, you can Cash App me.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a throne on my Twitch. You can buy me something.
Nice.
There it is.
Yeah. So other than that, man, we'll see you next week. You know, if we haven't gotten deported.
Right. Right.
So if anybody from ICE comes looking for me, you ain't seen me, and I'm going under the name Hank Morenstein. All right.
Hank Schwartz.
Hank Schwartz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, thank you so much for hanging out, folks. Heck, happy birthday. Thank you for hanging out with us, man. We appreciate you. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more of, what you might want to see less of, or if you have any suggestions, we'd love to hear them because we're the Fantastic Forum. So, yeah, I guess until next week, we are out.
Bye.
Bye. Happy birthday, Heck.
Thank you. Good times, man.